The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Check, testing 1 2, please. Mic check, testing 1 2. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital. This is the nightly strategy podcast for July 28th, 2021. Let's get started. So we had a second day of what I would classify as a yellow day. It didn't really follow through strong, but then it didn't fail strong either. So it kind of was an inside day. The fractional gap up, mucked around, and closed a little bit lower than yesterday. Not much to speak of. It was enough to keep the whole 3-period moving average pointing downward and warning. But it didn't fail back into the river. It didn't penetrate the dragon. I consider that healthy. So one more day like that, and tomorrow I think we'll see we should see a new high and a test of the upside enthusiasm to see how much buying pressure there is, because there was quite a wide variety of strength today that we're going to see. The RL30 health, that RL30 trend line is still pointing straight up. The PSAR flipped 3 days ago and is still grinding its way north, so we have a wide dragon range of fuzzy support, I suppose. And this still looks pretty good. The failure to fail today was helpful. So that's how I would classify that. Let's look at the S&P was near the bottom of our stack today. Oh boy, today was a busy one. Sorry. Didn't mean to yawn in your ear. That wasn't polite. All right, let's see what else we have. To the downside, we had the Dow was off 0.36, and really that was those were the two weakest elements today. To the upside, Treasuries were fractionally good. The Qs were a little better at 0.38. The Russell was up 1.47. And finally, the emerging markets had a desperation recovery day, I guess, at 2.71. We've been following that trade for a while now. So we'll take a quick look at it and see what's going on. Yeah, so today rejected that doji sell-off day, gapped up, and then just crushed it going north. So we've been stalking that trade for a while, and you can see on the intraday, on the minute chart here, that that gap down. I'm sorry, the gap up move, I should say. Allowed for a pretty strong move throughout the day in the morning. So if you stuck with it, it had some opportunities. This exaggerated sell-off, that's like an Anderson regression line stretch. When you get some kind of anomaly like that, and then you see it, that went to like Z6. When that recovers, let's put this into perspective a little bit. This made for a really interesting afternoon. That you had a penetration all the way back below. This is about, if that's Z3, that's Z6. That's almost a 9 sigma move. And then when that recovers, you have a 1, 2, 3 entry here. And even if you just wait for the supported spring crossing or kata 2s, you end up getting a pretty nice trade in the afternoon as well. And that's certainly tradable. And then if you look at the precondition of this thing, where's my little marker? There it is. you had some nice moves in the morning with the COTA 2 and the SSC that took you from 51 even up to 52, which is a 2% move. So emerging markets had a little bit of a recovery day on that 2.71% move. It's still in the daily winter, so we're going to be mindful of that. Now let's take a look at the the sectors that underperformed first. These are the ones that underperformed the S&P. So we have technology, XLK, the S&P Tech was down minus 0.12, finance 0.14, lumber 0.22, consumer discretionary 0.32. Then Simon Property Group is our proxy for commercial real estate, down 0.5. Consumer staples, I should say, 0.88. And so anytime the consumer discretionary is outperforming the consumer staples, that's actually a growth sign. And when you see that combined with VXX selling off, then that actually bodes pretty well for the market tomorrow. So Ken H was asking about trailing EEM with a 1 bar low as a swing. I would agree with that. If you kept a piece, and we talked a little bit about that, it was such an anomaly that this might be one that you stay with. Here's the daily on EEM. So to me, I think you could. It's closed so well. I think you could trade that as a swing and keeping that piece on, and then I almost would go back to the 2 bar low or that previous bar's low. Like I don't want to give like all the way back to today's low. I think I'd probably take like half that bar and go for it, because if that swing is going to work, what should happen is that this gap should close, and then it gets into this critical state. So that's really what your swing upside is at about 52.70. And then if that breaks, then you're looking for the far side of the dragon, then the Bollinger Band mean at 53.50. So there's another $2, 4% to the upside. And can it move that far in one day? It just did. So twice. So I think then that swing is in great shape once it can get through the dragon. But there's some serious territory it has to navigate through here. There's a lot of friction and resistance in there. And so on the other hand, I'd probably look at this primarily as an intraday trader until it can get above this middle piece right in here. When we mapped this out as a swing trade yesterday, we looked at a couple gain boxes in here, and it's already gotten through those, and so there's a small piece left. I think I would rather take that as a day trade first, and then if it could get through the dragon or above this yellow zone, call it 53, then I think I would keep it as a swing trade for sure. But for right now, the day moves have been so lucrative that I'd just as soon keep trading it that way, to be honest. So those are the downsides. Let's take a look at the upside sectors now. So the S&P was at basically flat. Then you had agriculture at 0.16, materials at 0.3. Then we have blended commodities 0.5, oil, Japan, lumber at 0.6, Mexico and energy at 0.8 and 0.9. So you can see there's quite a lot that was broadly good today. Wheat and precious, the FANGs, 1.5 to 1.75. Marijuana, oil exploration, Arc Innovation 2.3, blockchain in Brazil 2.4, 2.6, Arc Genomics 3.2, S&P Bio 3.5, Moonshots, Lithium, Ethereum, Clean Energy, the whole, the Bitcoin pieces. So lots of goodies today. And then we're going to see a couple trades where the guys did a great job of finding the movers today. Specifically, CLF was the big individual mover at 5.8. Then a nice cluster of disruptors in here. Virgin Galactic, US Steel, Coinbase, Squarespace, Twitter, Devon Energy. So a nice combination of energy, materials, and then the disruptors. Anytime you got moonshots, lithium, S&P, biotech, you're talking about the cutting edge of disruptor technology there. And that was all good today. And so I think the broad-based recovery today, the broad-based rebound today was compelling for a strong Thursday, in my view. That's the way I'm leaning. Friday will be we'll see how much conviction these winners have, or whether tomorrow is just a day trading opportunity. So, in my view, the way to think about that is to take a look at how it closes. Like if we got some early strength and there were the winners from today were being rewarded tomorrow, and guys are staying with it, then that's an indication of they were buying on dips and that they have some conviction. But if there is some late afternoon weakness and people just pocket their intraday gains, then that's a sign that it was just kind of a tactical bounce. And then Friday would be the real interesting day. So tomorrow's going to shape up to be, I think, a lot of fun on the short-term trading. I think it's going to be good. All right, let's take a look at a handful of trades the boys posted today. So there was some good crosstalk as usual. Yeah, let's see. Nigel and Ken H. talking about stops and reverses. And some of the challenges of trading the opening 30 minutes. That's why I go with the hybrid frog in general. If there's no gap, I just make a tight risk box in either direction, and then just let it automatically get me into the trade, and I just don't worry about it, and just to get my feet wet, and so that I stop thinking about it, and I stop thinking about trying to be perfect on it. So I just put that tight bracket of like a half a frog box move in either direction, and I'm in, just to get going, and I'm quick on the trigger to get out, but I just like to get in there and like getting thrown in the water at the pool or the lakes. You just get wet, and just get going. Just jump in the pool and get wet with a small size. That's one way to think about it. But the hybrid frog really is my preferred way to get in. Then Jamie chiming in, talking about he likes to wait 15 minutes to get shaken, and Luke testifies to the R Factory and their very nice graphic display on TradeStation and TradingView. Jeff's done a really nice job with that work. Is Leandro in here tonight? Yeah, let me... Leandro was looking for the file for getting the trade frames, and I thought... Nope, I thought it would show up in here as a... if I just search for XLS. Didn't. One more try. Nope. I'll try to find it and send it to you, Leander. I thought it was in here for sure. I'm a little surprised it's not in here. Could have sworn it was in here. Searching on the trailing. No, it didn't. Yeah, that's the one that we're looking for is something like that. I'll get you that spreadsheet. It should be in the file section in Basecamp too, but I promise to get it to you tonight. All right, so let's take a look at a couple trades. Here is I think this is Jamie on Cleveland Cliffs. He's identified his goals. I'd like to see you start annotating whether you achieve those goals and how you grade yourself on achieving those goals. It's not enough to just announce them. Oh, you found it with template? Okay. I'm sure that's the one it is, if it says template. So for Jamie and those of you listening, I would say good to have those marks on the wall, but then did you do that? And then how would you grade yourself? A, B, C, D, F, and be kind but fair as a way to see if you are achieving those daily stated goals. Otherwise, they're just words on the page. The assessment includes the grades you give yourself. Now, the way you're trading here makes me feel like you were probably in the zero state. You had a nice scratch on the first one. There's just no follow through, and you took like a 5-bar low. That's fine for a scratch. And then a great stop and reverse at the PSAR and a break of the RL mean, the Bollinger Band mean right here. And then a great capture for half an hour. After 5 bars and no further failure, just go ahead and take it. Then that sets you up for that PSAR flip and a supported spring crossing and crushed it for 3R. Beautiful reentry on a Kata 2. That's right by the numbers right there. It just does not get any better than that. Except maybe if you enter 1 bar earlier, but still, that's pretty darn good for 1R. A great Kata 2 here. Man, for 2R. So that's 2, 3, 5.5. 6.5. Sorry, I can't add. 6.5. What's not to love? Compare that to where you were 4 weeks ago. Compare your state of mind and your trading practice to where you were 4 weeks ago and make a comment on that. That'd be interesting. This is Luke. Basically got a fractional on that same trade that was scratched before. Fractional loss on the second one, third scratch. A good short, a great reentry and doubling up, and then a sniper exit, and then a beautiful reentry with the second position and a great sniper. And now, Luke, you're finally getting that entry in soon enough, like when it crosses the Bollinger Band mean. And I think that's a reasonable effort to capture 0.6. Then 2 goodies and a good sniper. And so on the front end, on the live trading, it's 0.1, 1.1, 2.1, 1.8, 5.2, 5.8. Yeah, so about 5.2 intraday and 7 in the afternoon session. Pretty good work there. Let's see. Peter just told me about another one that's in the room. Stand by. Let me see if I can go get it. I don't see it in here. Peter, did you put it in the chat room? Because I'm not seeing it. Those of you in the chat room, let's see if I want to check that template, see if that's the right one. Yeah, trade log template. That's the one to get from November 4th, 2020. That one's pretty good. Okay. Oh, you don't have chat room access? Well, let me. I'll fix that later. You should have told me that sooner. Let's take a look at NVIDIA real quick. Yeah, NVIDIA offered some morning moves that were pretty nice. You know, you're getting a hybrid frog on the short side. You know, trading this in our usual way. By this time, you should be getting into either a collapsing dragon or a pocket trade or a hybrid frog short. And then with a stop or stop and reverse somewhere in this range, somewhere close to the dragon. And then a supported spring crossing, maybe a Kata 2 second position or a second position here. There's a sniper exit. You may or may not have taken that short, but when it holds support at the VWAP, that's a beautiful Kata 2 because you have this low and a higher low, then the RLXD, and notice the winter turns to spring, and notice here was a P1. I mean, that has everything right there. That entry is everything. And your risk should only be down here to the PSAR. You're talking about, you know, about a 30-cent risk and about a almost $3 gain. That ain't bad. All right, let's get the daily report up. Oh, in the file section, there is a systems thinking slide deck that I used today in support of a live trading webinar I did for the Tharp Institute on systems thinking in general. As soon as they send me the link, I'm going to add that to the Foundations course because it's pretty good. But it was basically talking about how systems thinking is beneficial and then how we can use it in our trading in a variety of ways. And the speech on it was pretty good. A couple good resources. So I will. You can download those slides and then listen to the presentation as soon as I get it. It should be in the next 24 hours. All right, let's look at. Finish up with the daily now. All right, let's look at the dashboard number one. We are still in bullish normal conditions. We are overbought everywhere, and now we are above average on the 2-day with today's little bit of a recovery. That's a good thing. The risk Z is still warning us about potential downsides, so we're mindful. But again, it seems to be trying to find support above the Z-1, so that's good. No channeling or overreactions this close to the 10-day high. No surprise. 10-day min pains. Merck, Nike, Johnson & Johnson, Walgreens, and Caterpillar. Some non-tech names in there. And then names like Intel and Apple really stand out as opportunities in tech land. And EEM is still a great trading vehicle in my view. In the Dow 30 Tactical, up next. Lots of dojis today. No breakouts among the NDXs. Only one auto framer in Intel, which has had a legacy of really underperforming in the Dow, maybe the worst performer in the Dow in the past 10 days to 12 months. It's just really dreadful. Boeing had a pretty nice day, though. I like Apple here as a triple screen and a 551W on a symbol that everybody has to own has been dominating. It looks to me like there's an opportunity forming in Apple. The ETF 30, even fewer dojis in it. Only 3 dojis. One big breakout in XLV for healthcare, and a breakout in Mexico, which is continuing to show some strength. Only 2 auto framers. So that's not unusual when today is a smaller range day and a inside day. So it's that kind of quiet consolidation that's happening. Only 3 symbols in the auto framer, including Intel and emerging markets, which is why I'm interested in them. Daily squeezes, J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs in the finance space. It's about time for finance to get back into the swing of things. It's been lagging lately, and it should start doing a little better now. Only a few things on the big breakouts today: Boeing, Merck, Chevron, and Caterpillar in the Dow. Lots of good moves, though, as the globals came back online, and a lot of the other peripheral business sectors had some much needed relief. Tech was not great, but the other little symbols that have been suffering were. So that was almost like a rotation day and a value day to the upside. So that's how I'm going to play this tomorrow. And everything else looks normal and natural. Nothing weird to report on. So we will get this published and posted in the usual way. And let me check real quick for Peter. I'll get you added in here, Peter, pretty quick. So, and that'll follow next. All right, that's everything I got for you.